Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. So here's my question for you today. When is the last time you gave somebody a heartfelt compliment? Not one of those cheesy ones because you were thinking if you were nice to them, you're going to get them to be able to do something for you. No, this is one where you did not expect anything back whatsoever. You just wanted to brighten somebody's day. Maybe it was letting them know that they have a phenomenal smile, or it could be, you really came up with a solution that I hadn't thought of. Hey, thanks for just being the really great person you are. Now, what do these compliments have to do with you being able to get your goals? Hey, Randy. So, Randy is here with me, and yes, I am actually using something that Randy suggested, this Be Live TV. So, Goddess, thank you so much for joining us and being able to let me know how I can better serve our audience. Okay, so as I was saying when was the last time you gave somebody a heartfelt compliment? I'd love for you to drop a few words below and share with me. Share with Drew. Drew's not on here live today because I'm learning this new software. He is, what did you say that you wanted me to call you, babe? He's my producer today. He's on the other side of our partner desk. Okay, so drop down below what it is that you did to compliment somebody that was heartfelt. You just wanted to be able to brighten their day. Now, what does that have to do with you getting your goals and having unshakable confidence in order to be a success? Well, there's something known as mirror neurons. And a mirror neuron says that for you to recognize the beauty, the magnificence, and the brilliance in someone else, you already possess it yourself. Have you ever watched TV and something came on, a story, and you were like, how could somebody do that? The stories that have anything to do with hurting children or animals. No, I do not get that. Why is that? Because I don't possess that capability. And it's the same way for you, that you don't possess the capability of doing something when you see a horrific act and you're going, I just don't get that. But when you see the beauty, when you see the brilliance, when you see the magnificence in someone else, and you let them know about that, well, then you're actually bringing out what you already possess. I tell you right now, I've seen stories where people have taken their 30-plus-year-old that's living in the basement still. The parents have taken the child to court going, we're kicking him out. And I'm like, I can so get that. Why is that? Because I possess that capability of throwing my kids out if I feel like it's just gone on too long. You can ask them about it. So share with me what you've done to compliment somebody recently. Share down below, because we want to start looking at what's magnificent about you. Most people say that they want more confidence. I'm not great at public speaking, or I don't do so well at being able to ask for what it is I need. Some women will even say, I'm terrible at accepting compliments. It's not your fault because you have been conditioned and trained to be that way. That's what we're going to be going over today, is that you're operating from a side of you where you had to learn to overcompensate for someone else. And you're still bringing that out as an adult, because 80% of who you are right now, what you believe about your potential, your power, and your ability to achieve success as well as keep it, 80% of it was learned by age 8, not because you were brilliant. It was based on the beliefs of those around you. It was based on what they had accepted as the truth. And the truth is going to be universal for all of us. It's like gravity. You can say, I don't believe in gravity, and jump off the roof with a towel wrapped around your neck. No, do not do that. But you're going to find that gravity is going to go, come here. It is not going to agree with you. So we have beliefs, and then we have the truth, and the truth works for all of us. And the truth is that you weren't old enough when you accepted those beliefs to actually know what you were capable of producing, of achieving, and receiving. You based it upon the beliefs that someone else decided was okay for them, based on someone else. The Native Americans have a saying that we are the sum total of the 7 generations before us. What's interesting is just a few years ago, the behavioral scientists proved that, wow, we're the sum total of the 7 generations previous. So you're living out those beliefs that have been handed down. And once you've accepted a belief, we can't get rid of it. But what we can do is we can actually use it as a foundation of you revealing more about you, because you accepted that belief. Just like the mirror neurons, and when you give a compliment, it's because it's something you already possess in yourself. That's how you can see it in someone else. Those mirror neurons had you accepting pieces of those beliefs that do hold your potential. But it was the potential based on what someone else wanted you to have, not what you're truly capable of. So let's start getting into that. By the way, today is day 1 of Success Summit 19, where for the next 5 days, once I get a handle on this technology, Drew, who's over on the other side producing the show, he's waving his hand. I don't know if you can see it in the shadows behind me. We are going to look at being able to peel back the layers that have hidden the real you, so you can discover what you're really capable of, taking that potential and turning it on with your power, so that you can then achieve success, but not just achieve it, keep it. And by the way, Mary, I am really thrilled that you're here also. Got my peeps here who understand that they are capable of so much more than what they've had in the past. But to be able to move into that growth, you're going to have to start exploring where you've accepted limitations. And I'm going to tell you right now, you've accepted limitations for one reason and one reason only. So you could make somebody else wrong. So you could point the finger and say, look, they're holding me back. That bad diagnosis, that bad bank account balance, that thing outside of me. Maybe it's a relationship, but you get to point the finger at something outside of you and say, that's the reason why I can't have the life that I want. Not your fault. You've been conditioned to do that all your life. If you think about your schooling system simply said that your power had to be handed over to the teacher or the professor. And then after that, it was going to be your career. And for those of you who might be in business like me, at one point, we handed it over to our clients. So that was handed over to someone else to tell us what was okay. Now, it seems like I might be hanging up a little bit. If anybody sees that my stream isn't moving as fast as it can you drop a word down below and let me know that the stream might be hanging up the video, but that the audio is still good? Can you let me know that? I'd appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Randy says my voice is fine. Thank you. We're going to continue. Okay. And it might simply be just the picture hanging up. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. It might simply be because both Drew and I are on the same band wave. So he might be jumping off and then just monitoring the show from his phone. Okay. So, going back to what is it that's magnificent about you? That's what I want you to get into right now. Look at the compliment that you gave, the one that I asked you to share, and look at that compliment and say, okay, what was it that actually was a reflection out of me on that compliment? Did I compliment somebody that they have such a great smile? Maybe it's the fact that I like to bring joy to others. Or could it be that I complimented somebody on really sticking to something and coming up with an idea that I hadn't thought of, a solution? Maybe you possess the ability to see the hidden that others do not. So I want to know what's magnificent about you. I'm going to continue talking. I'd like you to share #AHA 3 things that are magnificent about you. And I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, anything that you put down in writing. Behavioral scientists tell us that you are more likely to use. So whenever I say what's great about you, I know that I am increasing the likelihood of you bringing yourself out at your very best. Because here's the challenge. Oh, the big one. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You do not need to be fixed. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And yet, that's what you've been conditioned and trained to do, is to look outside of you and say, my parents told me that there was something wrong. My teachers told me I needed to work harder. My boss wants me to put in extra. My clients tell me, well, who do I think I am to be able to ask that much for my services? You were conditioned to hand your power away. And by going off of that belief system, that means that something outside of you has to be fixed before you can be okay. So you've been conditioned to point to the other things outside of you and say, that's wrong. I have to hand my power away over to that diagnosis, over to that partner, over to that amount in my checking account to tell me if I'm going to feel all right. It's not about that. It is simply about you revealing your next level of leadership in life. Power that you have not tapped into. When was the last time you got frustrated? Because frustration is excellent. When clients come to me and say, I just can't take it anymore. I think I'm going to go completely bonkers because I am so pissed off, aggravated and upset. And I'm like, oh, are you frustrated? And they're like, yes. I'm like, excellent. Because frustration, what's on the other side of that emotion? Because all emotions have two sides to them. It's called the law of polarity. And the other side of frustration is untapped potential. You got a gold mine there. You just don't know how to access it. That's what we're going to be doing over these next 5 days. So, how to win? Hashtag aha. I want you to give me 3 of the things that are magnificent about you with a hashtag aha. Because what we're going to do is we're going to be giving away a course today. And at the end of the 5 days, after the training is over with, we're going to be giving a very large package that's a surprise. But the only way you can win is by doing hashtag aha and then sharing those 3 things that I asked you about what's your magnificence, what are you great at. You can put in hashtag, oh yeah, okay, wait a minute, I got to show this one. Mary, hashtag she's a leader, she's an inspirer, and she is a lifelong learner. That's one of the things what we're going to be doing is we're going to be wrapping up with a plan of action. Because I don't know about you, but I've taken courses, I've read books, I've sat in wonderful workshops. And at the end of it, I'm like, oh, this is phenomenal. And I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Because the subconscious mind, which is in charge of all of your actions, habits, patterns, success, and failure, operates between the ages of 8 and 12. Well, average that out. We've got a 10-year-old, and the 10-year-old's going, oh, I'm so excited. There are so many things that I want to do. Where do I start? And isn't quite sure. So it says, instead, I'll just go back to what I know, playing those video games. Well, let me tell you about the video games that kids play. We're no different. We are playing these movies in our mind constantly about what we can expect, who's going to do what. This is how we're going to move forward. But again, 80% of those movies are going to be based on what someone else programmed you to produce. All right. What does our average goal setting advice have for us? Well, I want you to think about on the screen that you're looking at right now. Let's say you're watching a really good movie and it's coming up to a part where our hero is going to have to take charge, but all obstacles are coming against them. This is not going to work out well. And so this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down for them some affirmations that they should be chanting, and go ahead and put that up on the screen. Or how about the way you want the movie to end? Put that on another Post-it and up on the screen. It could even be, oh, I know, let's make a pretty vision board and draw some pictures of a sunrise and people, 2 stick figures walking down the beach, and everything happens happily ever after. Put that on another Post-it and put it up on the screen. Does that do anything about changing the movie underneath? No. And yet, isn't that typical goal setting? This is what we want to do. Write down your goals, chant some affirmations, and make a pretty picture board. No. So, what is it that you need to do? You need to be able to upgrade the movie. We can't stop the movie on how it's played out to this point. But in the same way, some of the franchises that have been able to capitalize on making movie after movie after movie, addendum after another chapter, well, that's what we want to do for you. We just need to be adding another chapter, maybe an entire another book. That's why I want to start this one off with what's magnificent. Okay, so what's your waiting success? And what do I mean by that? There are 6 levels to success. There is certainty, where you know that you can count on systems, you can count on yourself, you can also count on some of the other people in your environment for things to move through for you into that success that you're going to keep. Then after that, you have variety. You have a lot of choices on the way you're going to experience success. Then worthiness, because what you're doing and the freedom that you're exploring is bringing you out at your very best. Then you have validation. Validation is when you start sharing it with others and improving the quality of their life. Then you move into wisdom. And wisdom only comes after you've been through all the crud in your life and you've learned how to turn it into fertilizer for your garden of growth. And then leadership of legacy. You are living who you really are. Not a legacy that is going to be something that is written on a graveside marker about how fabulous that you were, but the legacy is happening now. Those generational curses, they're falling off. Chains are broken, but it's not just for you. It's for everyone you touch. Isn't it about time? All right, so I gave you a chart on what we call the core 4 for you to utilize in today's training. By the way, if you didn't claim that, if you've come across this and you're like, okay, what's going on to get access to all 5 days of the training, as well as the bonus training material, and to be able to be registered to win, you need to go to drewdawnferguson.com/live, LIVE, because that's what we're doing here. By the way, if you have any questions about anything that I'm covering, just put a Q down below and then write what that question is, because Drew's monitoring it and he's going to be able to let me know since he is the producer of the show today. Okay, go to drewdawnferguson.com/live. You'll be able to get access to all the bonus materials. But the core 4 are the first 4 levels. And this are the areas that hold your magnificence. They also hold your pain. The reason why we're not looking at all 6 of them today, we're only working with the first 4, is because if you don't master that first 4, you're never going to be able to move up to the next 2. That wisdom, as well as the living legacy, because something's going to happen at one of the lower levels to drag you right back down into it. I know a lot of people who love to think that they're leaders and all they are is a manager. And a manager comes from the core 4. I know people that want to be able to take others to the next level and help them, but yet when that person has a problem, they drag our leader right back down to that lower level. So the core 4, this is where 80% of society hangs out. Only 20% move to a higher level. So we want to make sure that you've mastered as much as possible what I can share with you in the next, 20, 25 minutes, that you've got a level of mastery going on, but also that you can see which one is holding you back. And as I go over the core 4, I want you to be thinking about which one seems to be your problem? And which one is the one that's calling out to you? The reason why you're being held back right now in life is because you've become accustomed to one of those core 4 areas to be your wound, and you think you have to keep going back and fixing it. When actually there's another core 4 that is calling out and saying, no, I'm the one that needs completion. I'm the one that's going to give us the firm foundation. And when you do that, self-confidence shows up. So I'd like you to share, what is self-confidence to you? Give me a shout out down below as far as what it means when you feel self-confident. Because a lot of people think that confidence comes from having results. And that's not it at all. And, I started at the very beginning where I said, yeah, maybe you've complimented somebody on the fact that they're a phenomenal speaker and you don't do so well in front of groups and you really wish that you could. And the mirror neurons, how they're activated because you can only point out in somebody what you already possess. So you do have the ability to be able to be an influencer and bring others out at their best on a stage in front of groups. But you think potentially that self-confidence comes from having the result. And that's not where confidence comes at all. If you were to look at a high-level athlete and say, okay, they're going for the gold. It's our national team and they're going to make things happen. You're like, yes, that confidence comes from the fact that they have won so many competitions up to this point. No, that's not it at all. Now, I like what Randy's saying here. Her comment is a little bit longer, so I can't show all of it. You're focused, you're relaxed, your ego is nowhere to be found. You have a level of trust inside of you. And because Randy does work with peak performers and athletes, yes, you have a level of trust inside of you, not on the results. You have a level of trust inside of you that you're going to take the action, that you're going to go out there and you're going to do everything you can. You're in it to win it. But if you don't win it, you're going to be coming back the next time. Self-confidence is resiliency on taking action until you can get to the results that you're looking for. You want more self-confidence, unshakable confidence. There's a level on the core 4 that you haven't been acting from often enough. So let's go over that core 4. So we've got certainty, which is the first level. Now, certainty, as I said earlier, we've got the law of polarity, that everything has, some people call it positive and negative. I like to say decay and growth. Because it's a natural cycle. You've also got the law of rhythm that says everything has to go through a cycle where it breaks down so that new growth then can spring forward. So we've got the law of rhythm and we've got the law of polarity. So the decay side, uncertainty, says that you have to look at something outside of you to make the decision whether or not you're going to move forward. You're looking at that bank account balance instead of looking at you. You're looking at that partner instead of asking them, hey, you want to come along with me and do this? Instead, it's, can I have their permission for this to be okay? Again, not your fault. You've been programmed for this. So you're looking at someone or something outside of you for it to be okay. The true level of certainty comes from you taking 100% responsibility that if you have a desire to move forward, and a desire is something, it's not a goal. It's not a dream. It's not even a passion. It's an identity. It is something within you that won't let you go. You've tried getting rid of it. You've tried saying, no, I've been at this too long. It hasn't happened. I'm going to give up on it. And then within a week or two, it's starting to play around the edges again, going, I'm here. Come on. Let's find a way. Maybe we can. And you've been beaten down over it again and again. But that life, like that flippin' dandelion in the crack in the sidewalk, finds a way to come through again. It's not about the end result. It's because there's something within you that can make it happen. And it's going, you have yet to bring this out. The growth, it's here. And that's where the challenge comes in at. Because most of us have been raised that we have to work hard and long. We need to be self-made. And we need to do it on our own. But this is the area, this foundational piece is where you need to get with someone who is going to start handing you your power back. Because you have what's known as a subconscious scotoma, fancy word for blind spot. And you can't see where you've been handing it away because it's become part of your identity. So this is where, at the very beginning, you need to start reaching out and saying, okay, books are great. Classes are like this are phenomenal because they start sparking those seeds. They start putting the seeds into an environment where those seeds can begin to realize what they're supposed to be doing, which is growth. But if you could have done it on your own, you would have already gotten the results. Okay. So this is when pairing with someone else, not an accountability partner. Oh my gosh. Typically when we pick an accountability partner, we pick somebody at our level. And they have the same problems we do. So they will give us the excuse of why not to do something. Both Drew and I learned, do not pick each other as an accountability partner for going to the gym. Because I'll be all motivated and he'll be sitting on the couch going, really? You've worked out, 3 or 4 days in a row this week? Don't you deserve a break? Or maybe he'll want to go bike riding and I'll go, wow, are you sure? It's kind of hot outside. So no, do not look at doing things together. You need what's known as a progress partner. A progress partner is going to be somebody who says, yeah, I get those excuses. So let's find a way to move around them. By the way, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the terror barrier and all the ways the subconscious mind can shut you down. Just know, for your level of certainty, it is something that you're not taking responsibility on right now. And I'm not asking you to do it to beat yourself up. I am saying I want you to start taking responsibility and taking your power back, because that is what is going to allow you to then catapult in the 3 levels up above. Okay, so now we're moving into variety. Variety, again, has a decay. Decay means that everything has to be really hard and that there has to be meltdowns and tears. Meltdowns are okay. I had one yesterday, but I only did it with my coach. It's what's known as the Africa close. I'll explain it in just a moment. But I only did it with my coach because he was going to be able to mentor me to get to what was on the other side of it. So remind me to share with you the Africa close. Okay. So the variety level means that we have all these emotions, but they are absolutely out of control. It's like downed electrical wires after a storm, and they're flopping everywhere and they're frying us out. Okay. What's on the other side of that? Freedom. Freedom means that you get to choose how you want to experience these emotional states. That it's okay to be angry. By the way, for the women that are on here, did you know anger? Yeah, you probably did. Did you know that anger is the number one emotion that we're not taught how to handle? So instead, we'll suppress and repress, getting more and more frustrated. And by the time we do act out, oh, it is now all or nothing. We are done with the situation and we're walking away from it. I am so done with this. I don't know if you guys could hear Drew over on the other side. Thermonuclear. Okay. What's the number one emotion that men are not taught how to handle? And that is going to be sadness. So they suppress and repress, and instead they explode all over the place. And when they explode because they're not handling their sadness, they get stuck in a perpetual loop. They don't ever get to process the fact that it didn't work out the way that they wanted to, that there needs to be some sort of grieving involved. And now we get into road rage. But not just road rage out on the roads, it's in the highways and the byways in our mind. And everything is ticking us off. Nothing wrong with being sad or pissed off. Sad simply says that we need to grieve. Being pissed off says a boundary has been violated. But now we need to find the freedom of how to channel that energy in a way that allows us to use it instead of it using us. By the way, Africa close. This is when I said you needed a progress partner. Here's where they come in. Because your progress partner, just like my coach did yesterday, said, bring me the heat. That's why it's called the Africa close, okay? Bring it all on. Dump it on me. I want to hear everything. I was actually standing up at one point screaming at my coach, okay, about how this one area of my life was not working out. Okay, bring it on. Because your coach, your mentor, should be able to handle the heat without getting involved in it. Because you get to dump all of that emotion and find what's on the other side of it, which is, oh, wait, yeah. Hey, I hadn't thought about this, but until that all that energy that's been building in as the frustration, until you can get all the decay out of the way, you're not going to see the potential for growth. It takes about 10 minutes. I am going to be sharing with you a way that Drew and I want to be able to assist you with this, if this is making sense to you. But first, you got to figure out what level is your wound that you keep trying to go back and fix. That is not the level of your magnificence. Okay. So after that, after we have freedom, then we move up into worthiness. Yes. What is the value that we feel like we've placed on ourselves? Worthiness has a decay side to it. It is an attention-seeking side, and it says, look at me, look at me, look at me, and how I either have to save others in my environment or look at what I have to give up for me to be okay. This is the level that a lot of long-term chronic problems will show up, such as some sort of medical condition. A medical condition that is long-term is nothing more, and we're going to talk more about this tomorrow, it is nothing more than our body saying, please, somebody take care of me. Because I haven't experienced the transfer of authority or power to know how to take care of myself. So I am looking for assistance from the outside. Nothing wrong with that, except that you'll keep perpetuating the cycle until you do down below, which is giving yourself choices of how to experience what's going on in your life. And you need to take 100% responsibility about moving forward. Not saying you shouldn't be on medication. I'm not saying that there aren't people in your life who do need your help. But if it is causing you a continued problem and you're not getting any better, what have you been conditioned to get out of not getting any better? Not your fault. You took it on from someone else, watching them and seeing what they had to do. Instead, on the level of worthiness, you want to move into significance. And this is when you want to start making sense out of your story, because this is the level of stories. You want to start making sense out of your story of now how it can help other people. If you look at any thought leader who has an impact on the world, all they did was learn how to package their story of crap hitting the fan and fertilizer for someone else's garden of growth. That's it. So this is the level when we need to get you out on a platform and start making a difference in the lives of others. Okay. Then once you do that, you pop up to the next level and you're going to get you some haters. You're going to start making a difference in the world and people are going to want to start tearing you down. Did you notice haters never tear down the people below them? It is always the people up above them. You are going to get some pushback. If you're not getting any pushback from people in your life, and I'm not talking about those that care about you saying, do you really want to do this? I'm talking about pushback as far as others passing judgment on you. If you ain't getting it, it's because you have been conditioned on the decay side of validation to hold yourself back so others don't feel bad. You want love, which is the growth side, but you will hold yourself back so no one feels bad about what they're not doing. I'm going to tell you right now, I was so good at this in my first marriage. That poor man never had a chance. I wanted love, but I settled for connection. And when you're at a level above, you'll do all the levels below. So I had to point out all the ways that he had to be saved and all the drama that we had in our life because of it. And I continued to find things outside of me, whether it was alcohol, food, but food in a different way. I wouldn't allow myself to eat, drugs, my kids. It's something outside of me. Always had to be okay for me. So I've been through all 4 levels. By the way, I noticed that the picture's hanging up a little bit. I hope that when it hangs up on a good smile. So, but the audio is still going. Okay. You have one of these levels that is your wound. It has healed enough. There is another level that is calling you out. It is calling out your brilliance, and it is what's holding your magnificence. So, what level is holding you back? The one that you keep trying to go back and fix because you're used to it. What holds your magnificence? The one that you haven't stepped into enough. Why don't you have your full success yet? Because you keep trying to fix things, fix other people, fix situations, instead of revealing who you really are. That's what holds your brilliance. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with your plan of action here in just a moment. But to be able to do that, I want to let you know what your next step is with us. The very first thing that you can do is you can give us a call at at 636-699-7791. That's the very first thing that you can do. The second thing you can do is decide that you want to get together with a small group of other like-minded people and break through the blocks that are holding you back. We are putting on an event. We're limiting it to 9. It's called VISTA, Vision, Inspiration, Strategies, Tactics, and Achievement, where we're going to get together for 2 days and we're going to reveal more about you, your potential and power, your magnificence and brilliance. It's going to be here in the St. Louis area. You can get all the details at drewdawnferguson.com/Vista. You're going to see all sorts of wonderful bonuses that we're giving. And you can also see a home study course of how to go from goal setting into goal getting. If you can't make the live event, by the way, on the live event, you can bring a guest, no charge. And there are multiple dates to choose from. But if you can't make that live, you have the ability to get just the course that I've touched on today, just a little bit. So drewdawnferguson.com/Vista, and it'll give you everything that you need. But the time is for you to put yourself in an environment with other success seekers who can begin to activate the brilliance you already possess. Quit trying to do this on your own. You're not going to make the progress and keep it the way you want, because that's not how you've been programmed. Okay, so let's wrap up with your plan of action. Step number 1. What level out of the core 4 holds your wound? Step number 2. Which level seems to be calling out to you? Your wealth. Step number 3, go into the Health, Wealth, and Happiness private group that we have for you on Facebook. Go into that. You're going to see where it says day 1. It's going to be pinned to the top. And I want you to share below that what success you're going for that you're going to start taking action on. What are you going to start revealing more about you? Is it going to be freedom? It's going to be the 100% responsibility? Tell us what that looks like for you. Is it going to be the worthiness? Is it going to be love? What actions are you going to take to start activating the area that holds your wealth instead of continuing to try to fix a wound? Because remember, anything you put down in writing becomes part of your identity, and we have to begin to upgrade who you are starting now. Okay, tomorrow we're going to go over self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, because today was actions. Tomorrow it's going to be how you feel about yourself and how that shows up for you physically, but not just in your body, in your environment. Okay, until we get together again, remember, you are absolutely magnificent and brilliant. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You do not need to be fixed. You just need to reveal more of who you really are. So I look forward to seeing the core 4 and which level holds your next step for wealth. Bye now.